I was still struggling with something with the concept of the God of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the genocidal acts anymore because I said, well, Moses and those guys, they didn't know what they were talking
Right.
about. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a God. I was still, I started struggling with but why doesn't love help us now?
Yeah.
Where's love
Yes.
now when people are suffering and hurting? And
Welcome back to Deep Roots Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Thompson, and today's episode is one that I have been looking forward to because it sits right at the heart of what we talk about here: honesty, awakening, and the courage to step out of systems that no longer match who we are. I'm sitting down with someone who has walked a very real, very human journey out of religion and back to himself. Kyle Butler is a former pastor who spent years inside institutional Christianity, teaching, serving, and believing, and then slowly began to unravel the beliefs that once shaped his entire identity. What I love about Kyle's story is that it's about listening to your own inner knowing, even when you're surrounded by voices telling you to stay quiet, stay loyal, and stay obedient. Today, Kyle shares what it was like to deconstruct after decades in ministry, the emotional and psychological layers that came with leaving faith structures, and the freedom that he has found on the other side. As always, we hold space with respect for all beliefs. This conversation isn't about attacking any religion or any systems. It's about honoring the journey of those who outgrow it, question it, and are harmed by it. So let's get into today's conversation with Kyle Butler. Kyle, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am so excited about our conversation.
thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yes. So for those of who aren't familiar with you and haven't met you yet, can you start out by just describing your journey? What led you into ministry to begin with?
Wait, first of all, people don't know me? Is
Well,
that
actually, I
possible?
think everybody
Like,
knows you.
oh, okay, okay,
There's
okay.
just in case for the few that may not,
You know what?
there's
You're
always
right.
those
There might be one or
stragglers.
two out there that
Yes,
just,
yes.
have been under
And
a
I,
rock for, yeah.
yes, those who have been under the rock their whole lives that don't know Kyle Butler, here he is.
Here I am.
Now they know you. Now everybody knows you, Kyle.
Everyone knows. Okay.
Now that we've gotten that accomplished, yes.
There we go. Good.
Yeah.
There we go.
So where did it start? Was it during childhood? Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
My mother found Jesus
Mm-hmm.
I was about 4 or 5 years old. And by process of her finding Jesus,
Everybody
I
else
did
found
too.
Jesus. Yes.
And all of my brothers and sisters and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But And when she found Jesus, I mean, she went in with everything she had, and just everything became about Jesus. And so, very early on, my world got inundated with a bunch of Jesus stuff, and you know, and through the process of time, being the oldest, being very close to my mom, I kind of probably, molded to it probably more than my other brothers and sisters. Um, and
How
I
many
was
brothers
probably
and
about,
sisters did you have?
I have three sisters and a brother, so it's
Okay.
five of us all together.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my first little mini sermon at 13.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
by
That's huge.
16, yeah, by 16, I had been prophesied to enough to know that being a pastor was probably going to be where God wanted me to be.
Yeah.
Which and it's funny because when I was 8 years old. And I obviously at 8 years old, I wasn't dedicated to anything. I was just
Yeah.
trying to be a normal 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But I would have these, what I call daydreams, and I would, my 8-year-old self, the best way I can describe it is my 8-year-old self was showing me
Mm.
and revealing to me what I really wanted to be and what I was going to do. And I felt this incredible sense of knowing at
Yeah.
8 years old of what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And it thrilled me, it excited me, and I felt no sense of that it wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as it was showing me that, I remember it also showed me I didn't want to be a pastor.
Right.
Now, I didn't know anything about anything, but I just remember coming out of one of those moments and I said, I don't want to be a pastor. I
Isn't that
remember
something that that's
this.
already
Yeah,
like how you were being conditioned,
yeah,
and you thought that that's what Jesus is going to want me to do, and
mm-hmm,
you were already saying this is not what I want to do, and
yeah.
nothing was. I mean, you were 8.
I was 8, yeah.
Yeah,
And I was like, it wasn't like,
exactly.
people were telling me or I knew much about it. I just had this instinct feeling
Yeah.
that I don't want to be a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know what a pastor really did or how they came about. It
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
everything
This is
inside of me,
not
just
what
as
I want
much
to
as
do. Uh
yeah,
huh.
just as much as it was showing me what I was going to do and what I was capable of being. It just like you don't want to do that, kind
Yeah.
of thing. So long story short, if I keep that 8-year-old boy in the story,
Mm-hmm.
what ended up happening was I betrayed him
Yeah. Yeah.
badly. I didn't listen to him. I didn't follow him. I left him back there at 8
Mm.
because somewhere along the line, I became so afraid of this God to the point of if you don't do what God wants you to
I can't
do,
imagine why.
well, yeah, I mean, he's God is love, and he doesn't,
He
he lets people do
is.
whatever they want to do,
They have
and
free will.
we have free will, and
Yeah.
if he, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had this tremendous fear of God, and I was raised in an environment of if you don't do what God wants you to do, He'll make you do it, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So, and I look back on it now. My two biggest decisions towards God was at 12,
Mm-hmm.
where I believed that if something happened to you if you die after 12, you're
The
gonna
age
go to
of
hell if you're not
accountability,
saved. Edge of accountability,
even though
right?
that's not a thing.
Right. So at 12 years old, I was at the altar,
Mm-hmm.
just checking that box off. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember I came home, and I'm the oldest, so I'm a big brother. So I'm the instigator, I'm the jokester, I'm this, that, and the other,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still being Kyle. And I thought it must not have worked because I'm no different. So I went back to the altar the next week because I thought
Yeah.
maybe I missed something because I didn't feel saved and nothing changed. I went back to the altar three more times that next three
Mm-hmm.
weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the little deacons finally pulled me aside and was like, "You don't got to keep coming up here." And
You
I
don't
said,
have to
"Are
do
you
this every
sure?
week.
Are you
But I
sure?"
don't feel any different. I
Because
don't
I don't
understand.
feel
It's
it.
supposed to be,
I
yeah.
don't. I don't know. So that was my first decision, my move towards God, which was a fear-based move.
Yes.
My
And
second move. Okay.
something real quick that
Hmm.
I find is so interesting when when we talk about salvation, something that I
Hmm.
remember hearing being preached was
Hmm.
when you are saved, you're not going to
Hmm.
feel different. You're not going to feel anything. And the people that tell you that you're going to feel anything and all these emotions, they're leading you astray. And if you do feel something, then maybe you need to go get checked out because something may be wrong with you, like psychological or something. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. If we feel something for, you can't even not laugh
Oh,
once.
I know.
If, if, if we feel something for
Hmm.
if we feel something when we hear a song, emotions
Right.
or anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or for a
Exactly.
significant other or our children or
Hmm.
our friend, and we
Right.
don't feel something for the
Hmm.
most, like the almighty, most powerful being in the universe and Jesus, like
Right. Hmm.
make it make sense.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then
Exactly.
we told if
Exactly.
we do feel something, then something must be wrong with us. And I never really, well, no, I never understood that.
Yeah. Me either.
Yeah.
Me either.
Okay. Hmm.
But it didn't click then.
Well, oh,
It didn't
sure. No,
click.
no, not at
Right. It
all.
did.
Right.
It did click. We had
Yeah.
no sense of wait a minute. Um,
Because this was our,
but
like, this is everything.
I do remember growing up though having questions and
Mm-hmm.
going to my mom
Mm-hmm.
and because it didn't make sense to me then.
Right.
But she would bat those questions down and kind of put me in that place of well we don't understand everything and we just kind of stop asking all these questions kind of a thing. Just have faith. That was her main thing. Just have
Just have
faith.
faith.
Just have faith. Just believe. Just
God
believe.
knows. He'll
Yeah,
take care
God
of you.
knows. Um, so then at 19, I was actually trying to run from the calling,
Yeah.
but I got scared.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, you know what, Kyle? God's not going to tolerate this running stuff much longer. and he's gonna
Yes.
kind of smack you on your ass, and you're gonna be,
Mhm.
you don't want that because we
Mhm.
had a pretty rough childhood. We were dealing with some poverty issues and some struggling
Mhm.
issues, and we had struggled enough, and I didn't want any more struggle
No
or
more
hardships at
struggling.
all. So
Yes.
I was like, okay, so this where most 19-year-olds are in their first year of college and trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, and trying to live as an independent person for the first time, and
Mhm.
all those kind of normal things 19-year-olds do.
Yes.
I was in church one night lifting up my hands saying, okay, God, I'll give you everything.
Mhm. Because you were terrified
I
if
was
you
terrified.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my two biggest decisions towards God ended up being based on fear,
Mhm.
not love, not this wooing, not
Mhm.
this, oh, I want you so badly because I feel your great love and I know you love me so much. You've done so much, and every day you woo me and you woo me and you're there every day, and I see you and I
Yes.
hear you, and you wore me down. You just
Yeah.
wore me down with your great love. Oh goodness, this little, oh, I just, yes, yes, yes. None of that,
No. If I step out of this church and I do not dedicate my life, then I might be like struck by lightning or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We
Mhm.
matter of fact, as young ministers, we used to say from the pulpit, you don't know what God will do. You might step outside this church and get hit by a
Yes.
bus.
Yeah.
We used to say that.
Yes. Yes.
And we believed it.
I know. I know. Or if we mess up so
Oh,
bad, he might do something
hmm,
to a family member or like one of our children or something to get us back in
hmm.
line, to show us.
Yeah, yeah. Because he's a jealous God. And they used to tell us that too,
He
right? God will take
is.
away anything you love more than him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Hmm.
That's scary thinking about it now,
It
really.
is.
The
It
way
is.
that I mean that's
Yep.
manipulation at its finest.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've got just to the community, and we'll talk about this later, but the small community on TikTok, there are some people that
Hmm.
have sent me messages, and it breaks my heart
Yeah,
because
it does.
I mean, they're adults. I mean, of course, like we are, and
Hmm.
they're like, I know that hell is not real. Like I mean,
Yeah.
now, right?
Right.
But I am still terrified of going to
Hmm.
hell, and
Hmm.
I do remember going through that during
Hmm.
deconstruction.
Yeah,
And logically, they know, but I think it is so heartbreaking of the
it
people
is.
that this is hurt and
Hmm.
and they're still stuck in it, even though that they know that it's not real.
Yeah, because that's how deep it goes, and that's how
Yeah.
deep the programming is.
Yeah.
And I really believe Christianity is a toxic
Mm-hmm.
religion. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's I and I've looked at it objectively, and I've looked at
Yeah.
it through eyes of just contemplating it and sitting down as a thinker like that I am, and just
Mm-hmm.
really kind of looking at it without any bias. And
Yeah.
I remember
Yes.
when I first started to break away and kind of come into my own understanding and thinking, I was searching for something valid and good in it. I
Mm-hmm.
was. I wanted to
Yeah.
find the moment where, but no, no, Kyle, if you weren't in this church service, your life would have never done this, or but it was this prayer that did
Yeah.
this, or it was this time you were slain in the spirit, or it was this message you preach, or this message you heard. I searched for months,
Mm-hmm.
and as if I opened up the whole catalog of the 4,000 plus church services I had been in my entire
Yes.
life, as if I opened up the catalog and I flipped through every service and every page, I was searching for something
Mm.
that was like, but if you weren't here this night, or if this didn't happen, or if God didn't touch you here, I I was flipping,
Yeah.
flipping. And I came across a lot of emotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I love you. Oh God, I found a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of that stuff on almost every page,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing tangible in a life changing, life altering way for the better.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, I saw a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. I found a lot of that. A lot
Yes.
at the altar, groveling and begging for God to change me and make me better and make me cleaner. And I'm so
Because you're
sorry.
a
And I'll do
horrible person.
better.
Dirty rotten
And all
sinner.
that. Exactly. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of that. A lot
Yeah.
of condemnation, a lot of guilt, a lot of God, I'll do better. I'll try harder. I know you're tired of me. I don't know what else to do.
Mm.
I'm trying my best kind of stuff. It's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I gave it, more deeper thought, I just realized how toxic and really deadly physically through
Yeah.
history, but also deadly to the human experience
Mm-hmm.
Christianity is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it devalues you as a human being and puts you at the point of trying to make you believe and understand you have no worth. You have no worth. And
No.
as innocent as I was in trying to preach what I believed, I used to tell people when God looks at you, he doesn't see you. He sees Jesus.
Mm.
Which is as great as that might sound to an indoctrinated mind, what
Right.
that literally says is that you're nothing.
You're
You don't
nothing.
even exist. Like
Yes.
God just bypasses you altogether. So whatever you are is nothing. God only sees Jesus, and that's the only reason why God is happy. That's the only why God is smiling. That's the only reason why God
Yes.
hasn't killed you yet, because He sees Jesus.
The only reason. The
Only
only
reason,
reason. Yes.
you know. Um, and but we didn't see this then, and one of the things I try to do now, and a bunch like you do, is really try to shine a light on the ridiculousness of the narratives and the beliefs, right? So
Yes.
we're trying to shine that light and say, does this make any sense? Look at it under
Exactly.
the light. Does it make
Mm-hmm.
any sense? But I'm also very incredibly passionate about trying to help people understand their self-value and their self-worth and
That's
the
what it's
value of
about.
self-love,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't think there's anything greater than that for every individual person
Mm-hmm.
that exists and that is alive. And I think if we can flip the page from how bad we think we are
Yeah.
to how good we really are, I think that's the shift humanity needs.
It absolutely is. You are 100% like spot on. And why would we even be born if we're worthless?
Right. Exactly.
It,
There's that
it
light.
yeah, exactly. Yes, I know. Like it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
There's no reason to be here. And
Hmm.
also, in my opinion, if we were born so unworthy, so sinful, so wrong, then that means God made a mistake.
A huge mistake.
A huge mistake because we would have
Yeah.
been born perfect, sin or not,
Hmm. Yeah.
being on the earth. I'm just saying, if you want to believe in sin, not you, but people want to
Right.
believe in sin, that's fine, right?
Hmm.
But when
Yeah.
you were born innocent
Hmm.
and worthy. Like if we were born that bad, then like there's a flaw in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And not only that, but if the story's true, if the
Yeah.
Christian narrative is true of a heaven and a hell,
Right.
then I would just ask the simple question: well, what's the point of Earth?
Exactly. I know.
Like, what was
Yes.
the whole point of all this? Like,
And
if we're just going to end up in heaven or hell for eternity, what's the point of this whole thing called
there
Earth?
is no point. And to take it further, if God knows everything that's going to happen, then he already knew that he was going to send you to hell. So guess what?
Ex-
I mean, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying, yeah.
with all the
Mm-hmm.
things people go through in this life and have to learn this and you
Yeah.
struggle with this and you got to figure this out. And my God, I'm in my 50s now and I'm just learning who I
Yeah.
am. It took me all this time to get
No.
here. Then, you telling me in the next 20 or 30 years, I might be out of here. Like, what was the point then?
Exactly. I know. I think about that so often. Like, why? Why didn't I see this before? I could have
Yeah,
skipped all those years that
all
I've
those
just,
years.
yes.
That was me at 19 making the decision for God.
Mm-hmm.
And things went very quickly after that. 2 years after that, I was being ordained for the first time. 2 more years after that, I was being ordained again. And 2 more years after that, I was being installed as the pastor of the church I grew up in.
Wow.
So
So young.
by 26, yeah, I knew nothing. And if any 26-year-old tells you they're ready to be a pastor, they're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. Um, but I did pastor for almost 16 years
So let me
with,
ask you this. while you were
Hmm.
pastoring
Hmm.
and while you were reading the stories in the Bible and studying the Bible, when you read a story that about genocide,
Hmm.
I mean any of them, right?
Hmm.
How did you reconcile that? Did you just like skip over it and say, "Okay, I did not read that"?
No,
Like
you
what?
know,
How did?
yeah, yeah. I had already been programmed to believe that God is just
Yeah, yeah,
and holy,
yeah.
right?
Mhm,
And the Bible cover to cover is true, every bit of it.
mhm, mhm.
So you don't read those stories of what happened in Egypt. You don't read the stories of the genocides in the wilderness by the hands of Joshua and
Right.
all of the other ones, Moses and everyone that did all those genocidal acts. And you don't, you don't read those stories with human,
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
human consciousness of, wait a minute, I'm sorry, did you just say to go into that camp and take all of the women, the young women, back to
I
your
got stuck
camp?
on that one.
And
I
that
got
was
stuck.
sorry,
I couldn't like
you know.
make it past that.
I'm sorry, did you just kill Achan and his whole family because he took a little extra from the battle? Did you just did I just read that right? I preached that story several times, and I preach it from a perspective of, so you better do what God wants you to do. Don't do anything
Yes.
God doesn't want you to do. Then, because there's
This will
sin in the
happen.
camp. That was
Mhm.
the focus of those messages.
Mhm.
Sin in the camp, and we use that story to say you got to get sin out of here because sin will kill you,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of thing. So you don't read the humanity in these stories, and that's what actually got me out of it. I started reading it from a human lens.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did the people of Egypt have to do with what was going on in the palace? Like, why did they have to
No.
suffer? I mean, why did I never think about the people before? You know, I just read the story of Egypt and God's power. Look at
Yes,
God. Look at his
we
power. Look at his power. Look at his
humanize
power.
people. Yes,
Yeah.
and
So God,
I,
yeah.
and I notice people do that today too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
because that's I guess how we're conditioned to
Mm-hmm.
humanize
Yeah.
people that
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with God's narrative, or actually the human ego's narrative, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah,
And why is that? Well, it's now it's a lot easier to hate people.
yeah, yeah,
It's much easier to destroy people
yep.
if Christianity was still on that path. And and that's just a societal tactic, because anytime you villainize a group of people and dehumanize a group of people,
Very
right? So
smart.
with the Indians, they're savages.
Yep.
So when you hear about these massacres, oh, they're just savages.
Yeah.
You know, Black people, we're this. So when you hear
Mm-hmm.
about these things, there's
Mm-hmm.
them dumb blacks over there,
Yeah.
that the Mexicans and the immigrants and the migrants. When
Mm-hmm.
you dehumanize people,
Yeah.
then when the powers that want them eliminated or subjugated or whatever, when they start doing what they want to really do, you don't see these as people, you
Exactly.
know.
Yes.
And so that's what Christianity is known for.
Mm-hmm.
So in the early phases of Christianity, and I tell people this all the time, Christianity was never about love.
No, no, it was always
It
about
was it was
control. And
exactly. It was never
mm-hmm.
about, getting people to feel any kind of love. If a Jesus was real and really did the things and really did love us, it
Yeah.
was never about that. It was about, power, control, and domination.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of Christians, people who profess to be Christians, number one, don't have a clue what the Bible really says, what the
Nope.
Bible's really all about, has no clue of Christian history. And even though I knew, because I love history, even though I knew of the Crusades and I knew of the things that Christianity had done, again, when you see it from the lens of, well, this is just because it's God,
Yeah.
you don't see it as the evil that it is until you get out of it and you go,
Oh,
wow,
yes.
wow, wow,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, really bad.
Just a little.
Really bad.
The things that they used to do to people
Hmm.
that weren't Christian or trying to convert Christians. I mean, back in
Hmm.
the day. Like, I mean, just when I started studying that,
Yeah.
like so much of it has turned my stomach, but it
Hmm.
it just made me sick again, like all over again. And this was pretty much, I mean, far into my deconstruction journey. My son and I
Yeah.
were studying just how it all started and trying to
Hmm.
find the truth,
Right.
you know? And
Yeah.
and I think or I feel like people make God that they make their own God.
Oh, for sure.
Do
For
you feel
sure.
that way? It's like
Absolutely.
their ego.
Yeah. I mean, Google says there's either currently 3,000 or there to date there's been 3,000 gods.
Mm-hmm.
And the objective thinker is going to say, well, why is that?
Yeah.
Why are there so many gods?
Yeah.
And that's going to quickly lead you, should quickly lead you to, well, we must have made that many.
Yes, we did. When that with the current one does not fit our narrative, then
Right.
let's just go ahead and
Exactly.
create another
Go
one over
make another one.
here. I like this one
Exactly.
better.
Exactly.
Hmm. So after so you're a pastor,
Hmm.
26.
Hmm.
What happened after that?
So I put my head in sand
Mm-hmm.
because no man, having put his hand to the plow looking back is fit for the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm.
That verse. So I put my head in the sand and did my very best with the integrity and the honesty and the
Yeah.
sincerity. And Kyle is the kind of person when 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 Kyle knows this is the path to success.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle was taught as a young boy hard work. So Kyle rolled up his sleeves and
Mm-hmm.
learned how to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
If, the few times I worked and without trying to live full time, which is a nightmare all by full time ministry, which is a nightmare all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
A few times I worked, I'd go to a company and they laid down a pathway for me, and I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay,
Yeah.
let's
Here we
go."
go.
Kind of get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So my most of my pastor those early years was really more of a, okay, God, you meet me at church on Sunday, and through the rest of the week I'll kind of take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll trust. My thing I used to say was, I trust you with the spiritual stuff, but the personal stuff leave to me, because
Yeah.
I've seen how you do the personal stuff and you're really
And
bad at it. So you handle that over there, the
yeah.
hakamashanda stuff, and leave me over here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. But condemnation got the better of me. Years and years of hearing people say, you got to learn how to trust God. You got to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
trust God. God can never use you. God can never grow your ministry, this, that, and the third, until you learn how to trust God. You got to learn how to trust God. You got to live by faith and those
Yeah.
kind of things. So at one point in 2007, I okay, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna live this out by faith, walk it out by faith, learn grace, and to become a man of faith and a man of the word.
God's
And
got
that
me.
really, yeah, God's got me, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
that really led to my undoing,
Yeah.
because I suffered
Mm.
for 8 years with incredible amount of suffering that was
Waiting on
totally
answers for
unnecessary.
God. Yeah.
Waiting on God, waiting on answers, living by faith,
Yeah.
trying to sow my seed and be found faithful in
Mm-hmm.
the valley, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember kind of in about 2015 or so, 2016, still waiting. I said, God, you are either incredibly slow at blessing people and rewarding people for their faith, or I'm doing something incredibly wrong.
Oh, but it's the divine timing.
Yeah.
His timing's
And
not our timing.
I went from one failed prophecy to the next, to the next, to the
Yeah.
next, to the next,
Yeah.
to the next, for all those years,
Mm-hmm.
waiting and hoping for something to show itself to be the
Yeah.
next. And you know how it is too, when you're in that phase, you're always looking for something, so you're searching for signs to give you hope to go another mile.
Yes.
And then you become desperate, because the things you think God is showing you as a sign are just your desperation looking for something to
It
keep the
is.
boat afloat.
And I remember, like, during a time right before I started deconstructing, my health was bad.
Hmm.
And to me, like, I started researching, I don't know if you have, but energy and frequency, vibration, all this stuff, like what
Hmm.
our bodies are made of and what this universe is actually run on, right?
Right. Hmm.
And I mean, right after this, I started studying all of that and realized, and then my body healed itself, all this stuff. But
Yes, yes.
I mean, because we're designed to do that. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but I would pray and
Mm-hmm.
beg and pray.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I never heard from God.
No.
And my prayers did not get answered. And I called myself like I had devoted everything. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to do everything
Mm-hmm.
right. Raise the
Mm-hmm.
children right. I mean, just all of it. And I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know you know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about, but I
Yeah,
just remember being
absolutely.
so desperate and the tears
Yes.
and the just
Mm-hmm.
begging because we were in a bad spot. Never
Yeah.
heard anything. But then I was
Never.
like, there's got to be more than this.
Yeah.
Like something is not right because I get it's in God's timing, but he doesn't even pretend like he's around for me.
Right.
Like let's give
Exactly.
me a little like
Yeah.
something.
Speaking of that, I would say this jokingly in church, but I would really, this was a cry of my heart. I'd say, God, do something, wink,
Just
move, pass
let
gas,
me
do
see you.
something. I
I
mean, just
know.
do something,
Yeah.
just have anything, at
Mhm.
this point, you know. And when you really break down that dynamic of this God who says it loves you so much
Yes.
and is a good father, but is watching you suffer. Like those are the kind
Yeah.
of things that started getting to me.
I know.
Like
Mhm.
I don't have any children yet, but I just imagine if I had a child
Yes.
and they were suffering and I had the power to stop it, guess what? You don't even have to ask. You
No.
don't even have to ask.
No.
You don't even have to ask. So
I'm
as
going to
soon as I
stop
see the
it before.
suffering, yes,
Exactly.
exactly. And if
Mhm.
I could, and then if I had the knowledge to stop it ahead of time, it's not even going to come to you. Don't
Yes.
you won't even know.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's
that
how I
that that broken
finally
leg, you wouldn't even
yeah.
have. Yeah, don't worry
No,
about it.
you're not
Don't
even
worry about
gonna
me healing it. It ain't even going to happen.
you're not even gonna limp
Exactly.
ever. Like
Yeah,
and that's
just
the
no.
thing. And that's how I finally got over my fear of hell.
Hmm.
Even though I knew logically it was not real, like, when I got to
Right.
that point.
Hmm.
If my children
Right.
did something,
Hmm.
because, like when they mess up,
Hmm.
would I ever want them to
Right.
suffer for eternity for making a
Exactly.
mistake? Even if they
Exactly.
knew what they were doing and it wasn't a mistake, I don't want them to suffer.
No. I mean, even if they said, I hate you and I never want to talk to you
Exactly.
again.
And never talk to me again. That's
Okay.
right.
Well, you
You're
know
not
what?
going to want that. You
Yeah,
still
I'm
want the
gonna
best
miss
for
you. I
them.
love you. I'm still gonna be here for you, but I'm
Exactly.
not gonna hurt you.
No. Or make you suffer forever and ever
No.
and ever.
No.
Like,
No.
I couldn't. That is why I
Right.
said there's no, because supposedly God has more love than we do. So if I love my
Supposedly,
children that
yes.
much,
Exactly.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I remember the last time that I had that fear. It's like, what if everybody is right? What if I'm wrong? And I
Mm-hmm.
thought about that. I said that there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that.
Most of the people, and I know a few pastors who have deconstructed, but most of the people who have deconstructed that were in it heavy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you and I were in it
Mm-hmm.
heavy. We came
Mm-hmm.
to a point of great faith and great belief in God's
Yes.
word and just trusting God, standing on the word, that whole thing. Most people who have deconstructed and have kind of had that moment, it's all been because of a human part of relationship. We've
Yes. Absolutely.
one pastor said one day I was holding my son, my newborn son, and he was like, "There's no way I can ever torture you."
I know.
Like
Yes.
wait a minute,
It's
why am I feeling this way, and why is God not feeling this way?
about me that he says he loves me and
Yeah,
I'm his child and I've devoted my
exactly.
whole life to him.
So, you know, and so many of us have gone through that moment where
Yeah.
we made it human. We
Mm-hmm.
humanize it, whether through our
Mm-hmm.
children or through people we really love or whatever the case might be. And I remember saying, God, I guess I'm a better person than you are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I, because actually, Jennifer, what happened to me was as I started growing what I thought in faith, and then I
Right.
came into the grace method very strong. And then from that, I went into the finished work and the whole is finished and the finished work and the kingdom and all that stuff. And I was really deep into that for those last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I landed on the spot of Well, to me, God is nothing but pure, unconditional, judgment-free love. That's what
Yeah.
God is. So
Mhm.
I got rid of hell, I'd got rid of the devil and
Mhm.
all these other kind of things, the
Mhm.
stories in the Bible, they were
'Cause it comes in
confused. No way God did
phases.
it. Right. No way
Mm.
God did those things. They're all
Yeah.
confused. They're all confused. But then, I was still struggling with something with the concept of the God of the Bible.
Mhm.
And it wasn't the genocidal acts anymore because I said, well, Moses and those guys, they didn't know what they were talking
Right.
about. So that,
Mhm.
that was a God. I was still, I started struggling with but why doesn't love help us now?
Yeah.
Where's love
Yes.
now when people are suffering and hurting and like you, when you were crying out for help in
Mhm.
your body and countless of people I know that were crying out for help in their body.
Yeah.
And that's what got me messed up more so than anything else is when, see, as a pastor, yeah, there's things I wanted that I believed God was going to do based upon these prophecies.
Mhm.
He's going to, span the ministry and he's going to take me worldwide and those kind of things. So yeah, I had my personal things that I believed God was going to do based
Yeah.
upon what, people told me God said he was going to do.
Mhm.
But what destroyed me the most is what was the suffering I was watching in other people all the time
Yep.
and how God wasn't helping them.
I watched
And that's
my
what destroyed me.
Yes, yes, and I'm right there with you. And through this journey, my son shared with you that at one time he
Hmm.
was going to be a pastor. So he had dedicated
Hmm.
his whole life. And pretty much from the time he understood, like, and so he went to a new school, or I mean, the children did, we moved, and went into a brand new school, started a prayer group, all this stuff as a 15-year-old teenage boy.
Hmm.
And he was doing everything right.
Yeah.
And he was thinking that he wasn't good enough and he was doing everything wrong. There's
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
have a bad
Yeah.
thought, or I was not nice
Hmm.
to somebody, and like, and very, very respectful young man,
Hmm.
all the stuff. He was very mature for his age, still is. But I watched this teenage boy doing everything right, but
Hmm.
in constant turmoil
Yeah.
because he was so hard on himself. And then
Hmm.
he couldn't hear from God. God would not answer
Yeah.
him.
Hmm.
And by then I had deconstructed enough to know that, like, I was getting very upset watching that.
Yeah, I
And I
can
didn't want to
imagine.
push anything or change
Hmm.
his mind just because what I believed at the time. I mean, this was like a few years that, I
Hmm.
mean, was going through this. And but that, Kyle, for me was heartbreaking to watch. A
Hmm.
young teenage child, like, didn't go out and party, didn't do all the things the
Hmm.
teenagers were doing, didn't
Hmm.
understand
Hmm.
why they were calling themselves Christian, but wouldn't come to Bible study, but wouldn't stop partying and doing all this stuff, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it hurt him, and he was trying to get them to turn away from it.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was like in sports, and so it just, watching that was hard. And you're right, watching other people suffer
Hmm.
is when you stop and you're like, there's something not right about this.
Exactly.
And if he loves us so much, why would he let us
Hmm.
suffer like this?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to the conclusion, oh, God, God, you don't even help your own people.
Yes.
I would understand if it's people in the world who hate you or
Yeah.
atheists or Muslims, and most atheists don't hate God. So let
No,
me,
no, no. Right, right. But I
I
know what you're
misspoke with
saying.
that. But
But
yeah, you know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying. They gave us the impression that atheists hate God, kind of a thing. Growing up, like
we
atheists are
thought
the
there was
evil
one or two
people.
things.
Yeah,
You're a Christian or you're atheist. And if you're
yeah,
atheist, that means you hated God.
you hate
That
God.
is
Yeah,
not at all.
not at all the
Like,
case
yeah,
at
the
all.
only two choices are how it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would understand if it's other people who God doesn't help.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
He doesn't help His own people. You
Exactly.
know,
The ones that
and I've
devoted their
watched
whole life to him.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
it hit me one day, Jennifer, that so we have these Bible stories of Jesus, and He's going out doing all these wonderful things,
Mm-hmm.
yay, and He's healing all these people, hooray! And there's multiple accounts where He healed them all. He just healed them
Mm-hmm.
all. like all
Mhm.
kind of stuff. Now we have the specific ones: the blinded eyes with the mud, and the leopard man, and the
Mhm.
lame man, and the woman bent over, and the woman with the issue of blood, and we have
Mhm.
personal moments, and he raises Jairus' daughter from the dead, and this. So we have little stories, but then there's moments where it says he healed them all. He just healed
Yeah.
them all, every sickness and disease.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. So then he goes to the cross and he utters his famous, "It's finished. The thing I came to do is accomplished. The door's open now for salvation. The door's
Mhm.
open now for people to have a relationship with me. The door's open for people now to come to the Father boldly before the throne of grace. Blah, blah, blah. It's finished."
Yep.
And he goes up to heaven. And all these people become now
Mhm.
followers of Jesus. And Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And I've accepted him into my heart. And he won't heal a lick of them.
Exactly.
He was healing people, wasn't saved, didn't go to church,
No,
didn't call him Lord, didn't follow him. They got their healing and scattered on down the road. But
but
people who are
now,
following him and
mhm.
worshiping him and praying to him every day and talking to him every day and going to his services and lifting their hands and doing all that
Yeah.
stuff every single day, his
Yes.
people, he won't heal them.
Now that he's gone. Mhm.
Yeah. And so, that's the kind of stuff that got me thinking, like, wait a minute
Mhm.
here. How could they got it easy? They just, you know, Jesus. He was a. Do you believe I could do it? Yep. Okay, you got it. You know, you, next. You believe I? Yep, you got it. Kind of a thing. We're down here groveling and begging and
I
pleading and
know.
groveling and begging and pleading and
Mhm.
giving extra sacrificial offerings, and we're fasting and we're doing more prayer and we're trying to clean the house and make sure there's no sin in the camp. We're jumping through all these hoops. We're
And
still
nobody hears
dying of
from him.
cancer and dying of diabetes and not getting our.
Yeah.
So it was those kind of moments that kind of really woke me up. Wait a minute, something's wrong here. Because one would think that Jesus would be doing it for every believer.
Yes.
If he did it for the people that weren't believers, he should be doing it for every believer.
Yes.
And then that led me to the point of, well, what's the point of this whole thing?
Mhm.
If what's the point of being with a God? He won't help you. So it's not like this God says, for everyone who believes in me, you're going to live 20 years longer. Here you go.
Mhm.
Also, I'm going to make sure you don't have any financial issues. Now, I'm not saying I'll make you all billionaires, but I'm going to make sure your financial world is smooth. You know what? I'm also going to make sure that you're going to have good health.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
these three key elements of life itself, finances and health, I'm going to make sure that you have this stuff because you're mine and I'm yours. Everybody else, they're on their own. But
Yeah.
you and me, mine, this is what you get for being with me.
You know, as I'm listening to you say this, because it does say in the Bible that he's going to give us what we need.
Yeah, yeah. How much more your Father who loves you will give to you. That's the whole ask and it shall be given, seeking you shall find
Yes.
passage where he breaks it down and says, how much more then? If your Father knows how to take care of them,
Yeah,
how much
yes.
more then will he
Yes.
give to you?
So you have people following this.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sick,
Mm-hmm.
starving. I mean, people,
Yeah.
in some
Yeah,
cases,
all
many
kind of suffering.
cases,
Yeah.
actually,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they're
Mm-hmm.
suffering, going to church every time the doors are open,
Mm-hmm.
but those promises are not being fulfilled.
Exactly.
But they're being told that they are. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
still here. You're
Yeah.
not starving because you're alive, and you may be sick or ill, but you still can make it. So, I mean, you have so much to be thankful for and blessed.
Oh
You're
yeah. Oh yeah.
blessed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And people are suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it conditions people to continue suffering
Yeah,
because what
yeah,
you alluded to earlier, Jennifer, was that when you're stuck in that mindset, you don't look for the answer to the problem,
that's right.
right? So the
That's
energy,
right.
the frequency, the vibrational stuff you were talking about, we don't know about that. Where the real answer is, right?
Yep.
So I tell people now, and this is a true story, because I have the data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like you have
Yes.
the data.
Yeah,
You have the data of your Christian life. You have the data of your life now.
that's right.
And the data says my life is far more successful, far more
Yeah.
peaceful, far more happy, far more loving, far
And I'm
more
a
kind, far
better
more
human.
better. Exactly. In
I'm not
every
judgmental.
measurable
Yeah.
category, every measurable statistic, every
Mm-hmm.
measurable meaningful statistic, my life is better. That's the
Yes.
data. I'm not
Yes.
making it up. I'm not standing in the pulpit telling you my life with Jesus is better now. No, the data says, and people who know me and watch my life, they can attest to the data.
Yeah.
They saw this because they were with me every Sunday, and now they see this, and the data speaks for itself.
Isn't it amazing too when you walk away, you're not just wanting to live for the devil and sin and do all the bad things when you walk away from church?
We don't want to murder and kill and rape
It
and
hasn't crossed my mind.
we don't. Yeah,
I thought
we don't want
maybe
to
I'd
do
go down
those.
that road, but I,
Yeah, and my yeah, it has crossed my mind either. It's just, I mean, I actually want to be kinder to people now. I want to help
that's,
people more
yes,
now. I
I'm
mean,
a
that's kind
better
of what I
human. I
want.
don't
Yeah,
judge
I
them.
don't
And
look down on people
no,
anymore.
I
Yeah.
know. And it's such a beautiful place to
Mm-hmm.
be and to
Yeah.
to be able to see through these lens. It is
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful thing. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
It is absolutely.
Have you seen Dr. I think it's Dr. David Hawkins. I was going to say Hopkins. Hawkins. His um, chart of consciousness, emotional chart, frequency.
I have
Okay,
not.
I'm going to send you that. Not
Okay.
that you asked me to, but I'm going to anyway. But it's
Thank you.
very interesting
Mm-hmm.
because it lists emotions, and of course, not all of them, but a good bit of them, and you kind of get the
Mm-hmm.
point. And it tells you what frequency each emotion is.
Mm.
And so at the bottom, guess what? You have fear, shame,
Mm-hmm.
guilt, all the
Yeah.
emotions that
Mm-hmm.
religion and all of the systems, institutions keep us in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lower our frequency is, the more we stay on that hamster wheel and we can't get out of it.
Yeah.
So we do make bad
Mm-hmm.
decisions and we do, and we can't,
Mm-hmm.
and we're coming from places of like fear and scarcity mindset. And the
Mm-hmm.
more your frequency rises and you go up the
Mm-hmm.
chart, those
Mm-hmm.
things just
Yeah.
disappear out of your life.
Yeah.
And it is so
Yeah.
beautiful. And your body starts healing and you're like
Mm-hmm.
not in victim mindset, scarcity mindset anymore.
Exactly.
Yes, because you're
Yeah.
able to overcome that fear and your shame and guilt and grow
Mm-hmm.
vibrationally.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it's about.
That's exactly what it's about.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, how did you come out of being a pastor? Like, what happened?
It wasn't really by choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I live in New Jersey, it's a very close to New York City, so we're very urban, very city like. So it's
Mm-hmm.
congested and things like that. And so it's not like Mississippi or Texas or maybe a Midwest state where you just
Mm-hmm.
have land.
Right.
Kind of do a
Right.
whole lot with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in New Jersey, for example, right now, if I'm driving around the city I live in, and I saw an abandoned building,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Oh, that would make a beautiful church, a wonderful church." And I went down to the city and I said, "We want to turn this into a church, so we're going to need a CEO and whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to go before the city board, and the city board's going to say no."
Mm-hmm.
And not because they're opposed to churches, but
Mm-hmm.
because this building is getting us tax revenue, and
Mm.
this city is in desperate need of tax revenue.
Yeah.
You want to make it a church, and you're going to take this tax money off the books,
Yeah.
and we're not. We no. So they make it very, very difficult for new
That's
churches to
interesting.
establish in new building spaces. In
Mm-hmm.
major cities, it's very difficult in these
Hmm.
cases. So, if you don't already have an established church building, then you have to either share with someone or do it out of your living room and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had always been a smaller congregation, kind of nomadic. We rent from this place for a little while and rent from this place and rent through,
Mm-hmm.
through the history of the church ever since I was a kid. And so we kind of followed that pattern. We rent here until we couldn't anymore. Then we'd find
Mm-hmm.
something else and find something else. And so when we got to the last stop, I'd done what I'd done the two previous times under my tenure was, okay, God, here we are. You got to open up another door.
Yeah.
And in the past, we never missed a beat. Well, I was kind of exhausted at this point
Mm.
because I'd already gone through this twice. And I was like, God, I'm not doing anything. You open the door. I'm not sending out any letters. I'm not making any phone calls.
Mhm.
I can't.
Right.
This is your show. I had already turned the ministry over to the Lord. Jesus
Mhm.
is Lord, that whole Kenneth Copeland thing. I'd already turned it over to him. This is your ministry. This is your show. I'm just following your lead. So, and I was having the faith that time too. So I'm like, God, look, this is your need. You self-supply all our needs. You're the Lord of this ministry. I fully trust you. I depend on you. You open the
Mhm.
door, I'll walk through it.
Yeah.
And the door never opened. So it turned into
Imagine
one
that.
week and 2 week and 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 5 weeks and 6 weeks and 2 months.
Mhm.
And it just kept going and going and going. And during that time, as the months kept going, I mean, I was still doing pastor work where I was called to, but I wasn't doing anything on a weekly basis anymore. So I was still kind of connected, but we weren't having our own local services anymore. And as time moved on, I just started having more time to think.
Yeah.
And I remember somewhere along the lines, I thought maybe 2 years after that, I said, well, God, you know what? If we ever start another church, we're probably only going to go twice a week because I don't see the point of all this church stuff. That is too much. I mean, 4 times to do what? I mean, we're talking about the same thing, the same song. We can get that done in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
2 weeks a month.
Mhm.
And then very close to the time I stopped believing, I said, hey, God, I think I get this done in once a month. I think I get everything accomplished
Everything accomplished in one day.
one Sunday a
One
month.
time a
I think
month.
that's all
Yeah.
we need. Because I was noticing, Jennifer, that what they had told me had been a lie.
Yeah.
That if we're not in church every week, our lives are going to fall apart,
That exactly.
right?
Yes.
So I was watching my life. I was watching my family's life. My sisters, because we're all in the same church. I was
Yeah.
watching the other members who said, Pastor Kyle, we're not going to another church till you get another church. We're not going
Mhm.
nowhere else.
Mhm.
We ain't trying to go nowhere new, mess with
Mhm.
nothing new, all this. Wait. So I was watching their lives, and
Right.
nobody's life got run over by the devil. No one's turned into some street harlots. No, no,
I was gonna say they weren't on the streets or anything
you
like
know,
that. They were
I was
just
like,
normal.
look at this. And I saw people still succeeding and still getting jobs and still prospering and still living.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, we should have did this a long time ago.
So
So that's
so
how
then
it ended.
what? Mhm.
So then that also opened me up to think more. So I had
Yeah.
all this time to think, and then that's really when the deconstruction started. It started in 2009 when I stumbled into the Grace Camp because that really freed me from a lot of the condemnation stuff
Mm.
of you're not praying enough, you're not fasting enough, you're not studying enough, and things like that. So
Yeah.
that was where it started, and then I just kept going with it and going with it. And so once I broke away from the hell and the Satan and all that stuff, I had no intention on ditching Jesus. But one day the thought hit me, which was billions upon billions upon billions of people live very happy, meaningful, successful, loving lives, and they never try to figure out who Jesus is.
Exactly.
And I was like,
Mhm.
you're right.
Yeah.
So then what's the point of Jesus? Because I'd already
I
figured
know.
you're not my savior because you've never saved me from anything.
Yeah.
You're not saving me from a hell. I'm not going there.
Mhm.
So you're not my Lord. My life has been much better every time I took control of it. So
Mhm.
I'd already broken down that stuff. So then I thought, well, what's the point of Jesus? I don't need Jesus.
Mhm.
And then I started saying, well, if Jesus was real or not, it's totally inconsequential to me. It has no bearing on me
Right.
whatsoever. So if
He
he was
didn't
real,
come to
cool for
save
him.
us.
Exactly. If
If he
if
it
he's not
right.
real, then either way, I mean, it's of
Mhm.
no consequence to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. It's of no consequence to anyone, even the most ardent Christian lover like my mother.
Mhm.
Mom, there's no evidence that just Jesus has ever helped you.
Yeah.
I was with you the whole time. The whole time. I've been watching the show with you. There's no evidence
Yes.
that Jesus has ever helped you.
Mhm.
So even to the person that believes Jesus is the greatest thing on that's
Yeah.
ever and the most important part of their life, and they love Jesus more than they love everything else, there's still no evidence that Jesus ever
Right.
helped you. So, when I hit that moment, I was like, well, I'm pretty much done with the whole thing.
Mhm. So how did your mom react?
Well, because I'm the oldest, and we'd always been very me and my mother's relationship probably was based more on the church and the word
Mm.
and God than anything else.
Mhm.
And so it was hard for her.
Yeah.
But I was already breaking away, and we would have many discussions about why this stuff didn't make any sense. And I knew that I had her when I would hit her with questions she didn't want to answer.
Mhm.
She could answer them, but she didn't want to.
Yeah.
And every time she would get to that moment of frustration, I would say inside, I got you, and you know it. You just won't
Mm.
admit it,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And that's all I needed,
Yeah.
that's all I needed. But it also helped me break away from her because I lived under her shadow in that sense of trying to, because, part of the thing that I needed to, one day I woke up and I realized that I've been depressed all my life. And,
Mhm.
that I had a lot of inner turmoil and a lot of inner trauma that, of course, as a Christian, you
Yes.
can't have any of that. So, you don't know that stuff is really there until you get away from it and you start doing the
Absolutely.
inner work. And that was a whole nother ball game for me. And I realized that, me and my mom, we never, I love my mother, don't get me wrong, and she
Yeah.
loves me
Yeah. Yeah.
tremendously. And there's a
Mhm.
great love between us. And I do anything for my mother and she'll do anything for me. But we never had a relationship outside of church.
Yeah.
If we spent hours talking, it was about the Bible.
Exactly.
That's,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's just what it was. So it was hard for her, and I'm sure she still wishes that and believes I'm going to come back. But
Mhm.
I've become big enough now within my own self as a big boy now. I'm a big boy now,
Yeah.
grown up.
I know
That I can
exactly
look her
what
in
you're
her
talking
eyes and say,
about.
"Mom, I'm never going back. So you can pray
Yeah.
all you want, you can do whatever, and we can sit down and have any kind of conversation you want. But you're not going to budge me, and I'm not trying to budge you. But you
Mhm.
know, kind of a thing." Um, and so that's the kind of thing. Fortunately, she is a wonderful person with great love in her heart. She
Yeah.
loves us all, and she would never turn her back on us, although she's secretly praying her behind off, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. She is. She is. And that's the thing. Many Christians have good intentions.
For
I
sure.
had good intentions. You had good
Yeah,
intentions, you
absolutely.
know?
Very good. Yeah.
And so it's so, I mean, you know this, but it's so real to her. And she has good
Oh
intentions and
yeah.
she wants the best
Oh
for
yeah.
you because you're her
Mm-hmm.
baby boy, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
but still, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes. I'm her
tough.
baby boy. She loves me, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and I'm not. uh, I heard you say earlier you have no regrets. I don't know if I can say that
Right?
too, because what Christianity did to me, or what I allowed it to do to me, because of the level of belief I gave it to. I don't know if I still forgive myself for it yet,
Mm-hmm.
and the level of betrayal I did to myself. I don't
Yeah.
know if I've forgiven myself for that
Yeah.
yet, because I really lost my adult life.
Yeah.
Up until the point I took it back. I started taking it back. Now it's not too late for me to still reach my goals and dreams, and I plan on
Right.
doing that
Right.
exactly. But sometimes when I lament back on how much I lost, that angers me still to some
Mm-hmm.
extent, because I know I betrayed myself and abandoned myself, and I did it for what?
Yeah.
For,
No,
for for what?
I still struggle with
Um,
that too
yeah, I struggle with that.
at
So,
times.
and I know part of the healing process and doing some of the inner work and going into that darkness, and I've done a lot of that over the past
Mm-hmm.
5 years, and I'm so grateful for that. And so that's another one of those things I say in every measurable matrix that's meaningful. My life is so much better because all the years I spent in church on the altar, crying out, begging, pleading, God, make me better, make me feel better, help me. Why don't I have any peace? Where's my joy? Why
Yeah.
don't I feel right? None of that, none of that.
And
Yeah.
that's one of, if I have regrets. Now, okay, so I am working on forgiving myself for
Hmm.
abandoning myself. Same thing you said, that very
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
But I also try to look at it as, I mean, this was part of my journey. And now I
Yeah.
do believe there are infinite possibilities on this earth.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
And so, had I taken another route, I mean, I
Hmm.
probably would have come to the conclusion sooner and taken, but this is the
Yeah.
path that I chose, the
Right.
long, hard path, right?
Yeah.
But I have a regret with the way that I parented my children.
Yeah. I could imagine.
And
I could
just
imagine.
because
I could
I was
imagine.
that hard mama and
Hmm.
don't make a mistake and, act
Hmm.
like a Christian and don't sin
Hmm.
and this. And
Yeah.
so I,
And you did it out of love. It was
I
love, and
did.
you believe you were protecting your children from the big bad devil, and it was pure. Your motives were love.
And
You
they
know.
were. But
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I
I
still
know.
kept them, and those guilt
I
trips
know.
and the shame, and
Hmm.
I would do the whole guilt trip thing as a mom.
Yeah.
And now that I understand energy and vibration and frequency, I know
Hmm.
the state that I was keeping my children in.
Hmm.
And of course, I mean, it was the same state that we were kept in.
Yeah. Hmm.
And but now the relationship that I have with my children and
Yeah.
watching them grow
Hmm.
vibrationally, and
Yeah.
they understand energy and vibration
Hmm.
and how
Yeah.
it works.
Hmm.
And it's incredible. And
Yes.
it's like, if any of us make a mistake, a human
Hmm.
mistake or whatever, um, we grow from it. And we know
Yeah.
that that was coming from a place, that,
Hmm.
I mean, for the most part, energy and vibrational place that we need to grow from.
Hmm.
And everything, in my opinion, is an opportunity for learning.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
so it's a much, it's just a much better place to be in. And
Yeah.
I
It
do
is.
appreciate the relationship that I have with my children now, and I'm thankful
Beautiful.
that, or grateful that they're young and they see the truth and they can
Good.
grow from that.
Good. 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 Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I often say now, had I been a husband and a father, especially a pastor, husband and a father of kids, even though I would have loved my wife and loved my children, I
Mm-hmm.
would have made some horrible
Mm-hmm.
mistakes by forcing them into that, because
Yeah.
that's the way, like you
That.
said, we were raised
Yeah.
up. So you don't know that there's another way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I do have children and get married, um, you know, one, my children will never step foot in a church as far as the
Yeah.
church service is concerned. Well,
Mm-hmm.
none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get older and you develop your critical thinking and your analytical skills and
Mm-hmm.
your ability to reason and make decisions with constructive data.
Mm-hmm.
And you decide that you want to look into this religion or look into that religion because maybe you feel some kind of way.
Yes.
You'll have my full support
Uh,
because it'll be your decision.
That's another thing I love about this. Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have my full support. I'll love you and support you 100%.
Yeah.
I won't try to persuade you no way,
Either
but
way.
I will
Mm-hmm.
not. What I won't do is allow
Mm-hmm.
you to get indoctrinated while you're a kid. That I won't do.
Exactly.
That
If
we're
you
not
decide
doing.
to do that as an adult, that's
Yeah,
okay, and I'll
you
support
go right
you.
ahead because it's your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
I'm
your
I'm fully
journey.
aware that I'm raising another human being. I'm
Yeah.
not raising a child. I'm raising another human being who's going to live in their life way longer than
Yes.
I'm going to be their physical father.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
understand that. So that's my goal as a potential father, is that you're going to live in your life way longer than my influence, my physical presence is going to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to fully understand how to live your life based upon the things that are coming in you and out of you and that you're discovering for yourself and you're learning for
Yes.
yourself and those kind of things. I'll be here as a coach and as a guide and as a father to guide you through those first critical years that you need.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always going to be pointing you back to yourself. Well, what do you
That's
think?
right.
What do you feel? What do you see? How does that make you feel?
Exactly.
What do you want to do right now? Oh, you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to eat that? Well, what do you want to eat? Like all the things that make you uniquely you. I'm not going to try to suppress any of it. I'm
Yes.
going to encourage it and motivate it, and teach you how to be respectful while presenting yourself and
Mm-hmm.
as your own human identity. So that's my plan. So I'm grateful I never did, because I would be like you, and I'd probably have a lot to repent for, in the
Yeah.
sense of the word repent,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yes.
and try to make up for and constantly tell him how stupid daddy was for all the stupid shit
Oh,
he
I
put
have.
you through.
Yes. I
You
have to
know?
apologize to the kids. Look, I mean, and there are things that I can just that I think of that are like pop in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I handled that way. And then I'll call the kids, hey, you
Yeah.
remember that time? They're like, no, we don't remember that at all. I'm like,
Oh, good.
well, let me remind you. And this is what I did. And this is what I need to apologize for. I need to let you know that I had no idea
Yeah,
what I was doing at the time.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So,
But that's incredible though, the way that you look at that. And that's exactly what this is about. Is, I mean,
hmm.
like, children, they're humans,
Yeah.
and we're not raising them to be like just like us.
Right.
They're on their own journey,
Yeah.
and that's why they're
Yeah.
here on Earth.
Yeah. They're not going to live one day as me. Not one day.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
one. They're not going to live one day as me,
No.
but they're going to live every single day as themselves.
Yeah. So
So
why do we
why
want
would I
them
want
to
to
be just
control that or try to mold that into what I think they should be or what I think they should do?
exactly?
You know. So
Yep. Of course, I used to want to do that, but
yeah, back then I would have.
yeah.
As for me and my house, we're going to
We
serve the
will
Lord, and
serve the
you've got no
Lord.
choice. But Daddy, I don't want to go. Well, you want to go.
No,
You want to go. You
the
want to
devil's got a
go.
hold to you.
That's right. You're going to be on that altar.
That's okay. That's another thing. Thinking of that, we hear that, or heard that the devil, he's not omnipotent. Is that the word? Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
But how can the devil get to all of us? Because I mean,
Exactly.
he's not worried about little Jennifer or Kyle when there's bigger things going on in the world. Like,
Yeah. I mean, while he's, and I just use a name that people probably deem to be an evil person, but while he's influencing Putin to
yeah,
bomb another city,
he's
he's
over
over there
here.
in Putin's ear. I'm sure he's not over here trying to get me to sleep with that woman down the street.
No,
At the same time.
he's
Hey, Kyle, she
not.
called you last night. Why, you need to go on over there now,
Or
Kyle.
have road rage at somebody because they cut us off because they were in a hurry because their wife was in labor and going to the hospital.
yeah.
That we never think about.
Exactly. So I laugh at, I don't laugh at people. Well, one thing I do is I never talk about people
Yeah.
as far as a sense of,
Yes.
Christians. Oh, you're stupid. Or, I don't do
No,
that.
right.
I attack, or let me say, I never attack people.
Yeah.
I attack the beliefs,
The beliefs.
the narratives, the things behind the people, because I know what those beliefs are and I know what they'll do to you.
Yeah.
But I don't attack people. But, it's really just a huge ego trip to believe that a devil is talking to you
I know.
with all the things that the devil could be doing.
I know.
Like, who are you exactly?
Who?
That the devil, like, who are you
Yeah.
again?
You're the one person on earth right now. The one
The one.
of the billions of people and all the things going on.
Yeah.
You're it.
And
You're
we
right.
missed that from the story of Jesus
Yeah.
in the wilderness being tempted of the devil.
Yeah.
There's one devil talking to one Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or another we got it where the devil's. I was told every day that's the devil talking to you.
Oh yeah.
Every day that's the devil talking to you.
And I asked
Kyle,
before.
don't listen to the devil. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've asked, like, okay, if there's only one devil and he can't be everywhere like God can be, because God can be everywhere and he sees everything, how is it that we're all being influenced by the devil? Well,
Yeah.
he has helpers.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Demons. Demons are
yeah.
after you.
His demons are bothering you. Yep.
Yeah, he has a lot.
And then I thought, he has a demon for every person?
That's what
a
I
lot
was
of
going to say. I was
demons.
about to say
Right.
one demon per person.
Like, that's a lot of demons. Like, wow. And
So
then
if
some
that's
people have several demons. Like, whoa, like, where do
know.
these demons come from? Where do these
And
demons
if
come
that's
from?
the case,
Who made all
then
these demons?
why can't we have that many angels that help
Yeah,
fight against
exactly.
the demons, because we're trying to fight against them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And when I was deconstructing from the devil concept, I remember it hit me one day, like, the devil is very successful. Like, the devil bats 1,000, right?
Yes.
So if the devil wants you to be sick, guess what you are?
Sick.
Right? If the devil wants to attack your finances, guess what's attacked? Your finances.
He's taking all
If the
your
devil wants
money.
right. So the devil is totally successful.
Yep, he's
And
going to make
everything
you
he
a
wants to do.
gambler. Yeah.
Exactly.
An
But
addict.
with God, when
Mm-hmm.
you want to be healed,
Where is he?
when you need a financial breakthrough,
He's not there.
when you need
I
peace.
know. Well, that's just because you're still listening to the devil, though.
Exactly. So I thought, wow, the devil is like totally successful in everything he wants to do.
know.
And the thing with the devil too, you don't have to ask him, right? So the devil
is right
just
there
decide to
for you.
attack you. He just attack you. He don't ask you, hey, Kyle, you think you want to be attacked today? Yeah, devil, come on and attack me. But we have to ask God for everything.
I know.
Like when that hit me, I was like, boy, we were really in that Kool-Aid, because that's some stupid stuff right there.
We were so far in that Kool-Aid. And this is the thing when I realized with the whole like energy, vibration, frequency stuff.
Right, right,
Well, the
right.
reason that, in my opinion, that
Hmm.
some prayers are answered and some are not, it's the vibrational frequency that you're
Yes.
like that you're at. Because if you fully believe
Hmm.
something is going to happen and that energy and that momentum is behind it, then it's more than likely going to happen because that's how the laws of the universe work. Law of attraction
Absolutely.
is real. Manifestation is real. Law of
Absolutely.
assumption is real, you know?
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
then when you come from a place of uh, desperation,
Hmm.
scarcity mindset, victim
Yeah.
mindset, which a
Hmm.
lot of us are, if we're in a
Yeah.
state of like needing something, like desperation, we're begging. So we're
Yeah.
coming from a scarcity mindset. So guess what? The prayers aren't going to be answered because where your energy
No.
and your frequency are,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So that's how I finally like I understood why our prayers, why do they seem to be answered and why are some not. And
Right.
so you can now stand back and watch
Hmm.
people pray or the energy they put into things and you can almost figure the outcome out
Yeah.
just by
Yep.
their mindset and their energy.
Hmm. Yep.
Have you
That's
found that to
exactly
be
right.
true? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I use the example of if you see a pair of shoes you really want,
Yeah.
what do you do? You know? Now, if you can't afford them at the moment, you
Mm-hmm.
may say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to get those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you
you
know that you're going to get
create,
them.
right, you
Yeah.
create a pathway through that energetic vibration to get those
Yes.
shoes.
That's right.
So if it works
100%.
that way for something we've all done countless of times,
Yeah.
then it has to work for everything else.
Exactly.
you know? And so that's why I try so hard. And I don't do it a lot on TikTok. I do it more in my other platforms because
Mm-hmm.
when I realized when I started TikTok, it was really just supposed to be like another encouraging page, like I do
So
on
was mine, and
Instagram.
somehow it turned into
Just
deconstruction.
yeah, I was gonna do like I called it. The reason why it's called Kyle Talks is because I was gonna talk about a wide range of life issues like life and money and credit
Mine
and
too, I know.
relationships. I
Yeah.
was this whole thing. And then I
Hmm.
started seeing other videos about you need to be specific, and I was like, well, I do talk a lot about deconstruction on Facebook, so maybe I'll bring some of this and I can do it in
Mm-hmm.
video form.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of stuck. I sincerely believe that I'm helping people,
That's
because
the
that was the
thing.
motive behind it, that I wanted to
Yes.
help people that are
Yes.
not Christians who've made up their mind. I'm going to go to church
No.
every Sunday. I'm
Right.
not talking to you. I may pose things from a hey Christians perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not really for you. It's really just a rhetorical kind of hey Christians. Let me
And
ask
you're
you a
not trying
question.
to change anybody's mind.
Right. So
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't have the power to do that.
Right.
But there are
Mm-mm.
people, and you know this, and you're witnessing this, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
people are hitting you in your inboxes and telling you how you're helping them, and how
Mm-hmm.
how glad they are that they
Yes.
found your page and things like that. Because when I was on Facebook early on, I was Pastor Kyle,
Yeah.
and as that started growing a little bit, I was getting a diversity of different friends and people in the church world,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't even know what deconstructing was. But as I started reading some of their posts, and I remember there's a handful of people that they would post something, and I thought, what the hell are they talking about? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean Mary wasn't a virgin? What? You're like, what are they talking about? And I would get mad, the whole thing. I get mad, and I just want to
Yes.
unfriend them, but I would read it. I'd read it,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
want to. I sometime I would have wrote something, and I'd erase it. No, Kyle, just move on. And then maybe four or
They don't
five
know what they're
months
talking
later,
about.
right, exactly. Maybe 4 or 5 months, 6 months later, I'd have my aha moment. And I'd be like, ah,
Wait a
well,
minute, I
I see
see.
that now.
They were right.
They're right. So I realized that if those people were there for me, not even knowing they were there for me,
Yeah.
that I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be there for people like me, you
Yes.
know. So
Yes.
that's why I started talking a whole lot more about it, because I know that there's people waking up
They are.
every single day.
There's
And I know there's people that have questions because we have always had questions.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a huge awakening right now, I
Oh yeah,
think, going on around the earth.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
remember this one time years ago, probably 15 years ago, that I was working and there's a girl that I worked with. I don't even know why I asked her, but I asked her if she was a Christian. I was trying to do the noble thing.
Are you saved?
Yes. And so she said, and she was from out of state. It was like a contracted company that came and worked at the hospital that I was at. And so, I mean, they were just there for a few months. And she said, so sweet, but with all the confidence in the world. No, she said, I'm agnostic. I didn't even know what agnostic was.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'd never even
yeah.
heard that word. I'm like,
Right.
like, is that atheist? I didn't say anything, but I
Yeah.
was like so taken back and almost offended. You know,
Hmm.
like just that. And I was like, oh, okay. So she walked out, and I mean, and of course, I mean, we never talked about it. I didn't think to ask her because I was too offended that she didn't say, yes, I'm a
Yeah.
Christian, right?
Right,
And I
right,
thought
right.
that, yeah, we were in the same room together, so something was going to happen. But now looking back, like, I remember her first name, I don't remember her last name, but I would love to reach out to her and find her and
Yeah.
say, you're absolutely right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 years ago or 15 years ago.
Hmm.
But just I just think of like small things like that happened through the years,
Right.
and now I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
y'all are spot on.
Yeah, you guys are right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
And I too think that it's, there's a huge awakening happening.
yeah,
We're moving deeper or further or higher into into consciousness,
consciousness.
humanity as a
Yes,
whole.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't see that religions are sustainable
No.
because they're too archaic, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, technology and information is moving so rapidly in science. It's it's giving us a reason not to need religion.
Yeah.
You know, so you might believe God is a healer, but when you
Mm-hmm.
get sick, you're going right to the hospital, and they're going to have some machine and some medicine and some
Yes.
kind of something to make you better to the best of their
Yes.
ability. Now you can pray still and believe God's a healer and all that kind of stuff you want, but the science is going to make you better.
Yes.
And the more people are stepping into that, again, this need for God being a healer is decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see even Christianity being sustainable
No.
for much longer because again we're rising higher into that consciousness, our intelligent levels going higher, our technology, our science, all these things, and it's moving at such a rapid
Mm-hmm.
pace. So I think what we see happening is the energy of
Yep.
religion is fighting to hold on. It's
Yes.
fighting to hold on, and it's becoming seemingly it's taking its last hurrah. So that's why you see the rise of Christian nationalism and these kind of things because the energy itself that wants to hold on doesn't want to evolve, but won't have a choice but to evolve.
Yeah.
Because if you notice back 30 years ago when you were in church, the
Mm-hmm.
things the church said was a no.
Mm-hmm.
Now today, the same church is saying it's okay.
Yeah. I
You know,
completely
so
agree.
what happened? Did God change or did we change? Well, we changed,
Well,
right?
we did. Yes. God
Yeah,
doesn't
we
change.
right, we changed, but we found a way to say God's okay with
Yeah,
the
I know.
change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because obviously, if we change, that means God changed because the rules changed.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, very early, they were just coming out of it, but TV was from the devil. You don't watch TV, you don't
Oh,
go to the movies.
absolutely.
Women don't wear makeup, you don't wear pants.
Yeah.
So, but now you do. So
Yes.
what happened?
What
Like you said,
happened?
God said no. Now God is okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. As
Mm-hmm.
we're going higher into our consciousness, these things are becoming less and less about a God and more about this is really what we just want to do. We'll
That's
just
right.
find a way to throw God in it. But eventually we won't have that desire to find a way to put God in it anymore because God is becoming more and more of an archaic type of belief system.
Yes.
And I think that's the way it was always meant to be.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think that if there is something called a God out there,
Mm-hmm.
number one, I don't think it has any real interaction with human beings the way we think.
Right.
Um, and number two, I don't think that it cares that if we know.
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
hasn't revealed itself
Mm-hmm.
to us to know. Like so, like you as a mom, right? Whose responsibility was it for you to let your children know your mom?
Mine.
Mm, yeah, it wasn't your neighbors, right?
No.
So your neighbors didn't stop
No.
by every so often and say, "Hey,
Hey, just
that's
to
your
let you
mom.
know, that's your mom.
That's your mom."
Mm-hmm.
And then next week, another neighbor, "That's your mom."
Don't forget.
Let me tell you who your mom is. Sit down. Let me tell you all about your mom.
And then I'll be back
Oh,
next week to tell you again.
yeah, tell you some
More.
more.
Mm-hmm.
No, you did that. And you
Yeah.
made it abundantly clear through your time, your energy, your effort, your being with your child, your reinforcing to them that into them day by day by
Yes.
day that your mom. And then they came to a knowing
Yeah.
that your mom. So if we know how to do that for our children, you mean to
Mm-hmm.
tell me a God, if it wants to be known, won't do that
Isn't.
for us?
Yeah.
So that's why I believe that if there is something out there, it doesn't have the interaction with us as religions say, God's
Mm-hmm.
will, God is in control, God is this and God is that. And then two, it doesn't care that we know because there's no need to know
Yeah.
for us to
Mm-hmm.
know. I think it's been man who has made the attempt to know a God, but
Yeah.
it's never been a God's attempt to reveal itself to man because
Yes.
there's probably no need for it, at least
That's
in that sense.
no, yeah, and that's a great point. Do you believe, or I think that right now, I mean, I know that like as I learn more, a
Hmm.
lot of it evolves, but I
Sure.
feel like that we are all part of the same consciousness.
Yes, I do
That
believe
we
we're
all
all
come
one.
from, yeah, we're all
Yeah.
one. We're
Hmm.
just
We're all
basically
connected.
living different experiences.
Absolutely.
We're all
I
connected.
believe that. Yes.
Yeah.
And near death experiences that I started watching
That's
maybe
how I
about
started
7
all
years
this.
ago, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
kind of gave me some thoughts on that was far better than the thoughts I had at the time.
Yeah.
And the one takeaway I had from the ones that I watched were they would all talk about how on their way back to their bodies, whether it was in the hospital, wherever they were, as they were coming back to their bodies, they're walking down the corridor to the room they're in.
Mm-hmm.
It would feel connected with everyone in the wherever they were. They would feel like they would
Yeah.
instantly know everything about this person, everything about that person. They would feel everything this person's ever
Yeah.
felt, and those kind of things. And then some of the ones that were in that other experience, and they were having the life review kind of thing, and they felt how every decision they made ever
Exactly.
people feel.
That's right.
You know, so that helped me kind of get a sense of, okay, well, I don't have to believe word for word everything you're saying, but they're all talking about this oneness thing.
This, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That there is a feeling of oneness
Yep.
that we all have. And if we think about it on even a small scale of our everyday lives, I'm sure there's people in your life at time to time you had a sense of knowing about them.
Yeah.
They came on your mind and they call you, or you thought about them and you call
Mm-hmm.
them, or something, and you just had a knowing at some particular moment
Absolutely.
about this person or this energy or this frequency or this vibration,
Mm-hmm.
as we call it, and you just felt connected. You knew,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, there's something to that. But I think what prevents us, and I hope, my hope for humanity is, I hope that we're tearing down the barriers that
Yeah.
have caused us to think we're not one and we're not
Exactly.
connected. And I think we do that through love. Love
Mm-hmm.
is that thing that brings us to that unilateral place of being able to see and feel and understand each other as one and really make that connection. And this is why, the lower vibrations you spoke of, and love being the
It's
highest
the
frequency
highest
and the
besides
highest one.
authenticity. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it brings us to that point, and when you can really look at each other through eyes of love, you know,
Yeah.
and you get a sense of that feeling of that person through love, it really
Yes.
changes the whole ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously we got to fight our ego to do that. We got to fight our
Sure.
pride. We got to fight our ignorance and our lack of knowing. We got to fight through a lot of stuff to do that. And we have to be intentional. It's not easy. It's not
You.
easy to go outside
Yes.
and deal with people every day and think, oh, I love you so much. And I just feel your love. And I just want to share you. It's not easy to do that.
I
I
know.
mean, I get mad driving down the street sometimes. What are you doing? Kind of a thing. And I catch myself, okay, Kyle, calm down. Not that
Yep.
serious. Yes, it is that serious.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. And fighting with like the ego and pride, like that really is a constant thing.
Yeah.
And I find I was talking with a friend this week about that very thing. Like if I'm in my regular meditation practice and my, time and grounding and in nature, like of course I feel great.
Yeah.
And my mindset's right and I want to
Mm-hmm.
eat right, I want to
Mm-hmm.
exercise, all the
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah.
But then when I stop, even though I know it's good for me and it makes me feel so much better, like I'm on top of the world, like
Yeah.
I'm driving down the road just
Yeah.
grateful, I
Mm-hmm.
just stop
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm busy, I'll do it later. And
Yeah.
then I stop and I like my mindset is crappy and
Mm-hmm.
everything's falling apart and I don't want to exercise and I have no motivation.
Mm-hmm.
We know this stuff works and still have a
Yeah.
hard time doing it. And that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
wild to me how much,
Yeah.
like, on the other side that we are, and we still have to fight against our ego and our pride and just like the humanness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting.
It is. It is. The battle between our conscious and our subconscious mind, and
Yeah.
how we have all these subconscious programs that have been
Yes.
written, and they're running automatically in the background, and that's what makes it so easy to fall back into these patterns. And
Yeah.
so I try to spend time becoming consciously aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and the more I recognize through consciousness of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, the more I can focus on, is this the right program I want running at the time?
Right.
Kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're trying to rewire and rewrite the program so that it'll run automatically like the other ones have been running. You know,
Yes. Yes.
but it is a challenge. You're right. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to my physical 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago now. At the end of December, be 3 months, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew my numbers were going to be really bad because I was eating, horribly for the past, 6 to 8 months. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't
Because you,
surprised.
yeah.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, break bacon, egg, and cheese, telling him egg and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese every morning. Coming
Mm-hmm.
home too tired to cook, and I'm just ordering
Yes.
DoorDash and eating Chick-fil-A fries for lunch every day.
Then
I knew it. I knew what the numbers were going to be.
mm-hmm.
So I got the numbers, and I said, "Okay, Kyle, you know what you got to do, right?" Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you
Absolutely.
said, you get conscious about it again, and now you're reading labels again. And you're out, you look at all that stuff, and no,
Exactly.
would you, no,
Yes.
and then you're back into it. But every day you still feel that
It's
struggle.
you
Like,
have but you
I
said it
just need
earlier. You
some.
have to be intentional.
You have to be intentional, right? Right.
Period. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, and that's the challenge, right? So that's the
It is.
challenge for us. And Dr. Joe Dispenza says it,
Mm-hmm.
breaking the habit of being yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
that's the challenge.
Another thing when I realized that we were all connected, and that's what
Hmm.
really made me start looking into like consciousness, is energy healing. I don't know if you looked that much
Yeah.
into it, but
Hmm.
I became an emotion
Reiki
code.
and yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
became an emotion code practitioner. And
awesome.
basically, it's a form of energy healing, and you just find emotions that are stuck in the body from life experience, and you
Yeah.
help the person release it, right? And before, I would never have believed in any of that.
No.
But it
Mm-mm.
works, and you don't have to
Yes.
be with the person. They can be like across the country or in another country, and it's just intention and
Hmm.
literally
Yes.
like um, connecting to their subconscious, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And like once I saw that work, I was
Hmm.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like this is so much deeper than we could ever
Yeah.
think, or I mean, like have thought before. And I
Hmm.
think it's interesting too. And I mean, I'm guilty of this, but Christians, they'll go to the doctor, and you said that earlier,
Hmm.
right? And they run to the doctor. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
let's like pray about it and see if God's going to heal me. Like let's run to the
Right.
doctor. But
Hmm.
when you offer them like
Yeah.
energy healing or just say, hey,
Hmm.
your body can actually heal itself.
Right. Right.
And they think that that is like from the devil.
Yeah. From the devil, witchcraft. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
just think that's interesting because it's natural. Like you're not putting any chemicals or anything bad in
Right.
your body, like the medication
Hmm.
that we take. And
Right.
and I mean that's part of the programming too, but it goes deep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the programming.
It
You know,
is.
I've gotten into things that I never thought I would.
Yeah.
I was homophobic and didn't even realize it, you know, but I
Yes.
was only homophobic because my mother said, I asked my mother one day, what is abomination? Mommy, what's abomination? God
Yeah.
hates such and such. Well, God hates it. Well, so do I,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was homophobic
Mm-hmm.
for years and didn't even realize it. Now
Yeah.
I wrote on Facebook, was it yesterday? I think, I'm so happy for all the married couples, same sex married couples, and
Yeah.
the couples that are looking to get married, because now you can be at rest and you can be at peace because now, no one's going to mess with your right to get married.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
thought that years ago. I'm like,
No.
I would have been on the side of that's right, get rid of this nonsense.
Yeah. And
Um,
dehumanizing them too. Mm-hmm.
dehumanizing them, making them feel, like the worst of the worst.
Exactly.
And it's so funny. And another reason why I talk so much against Christianity, and I have no intention of stopping whatsoever, um, is because of what it does to people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How it dehumanizes them, how it
It
devalues
does.
them. The idea that we're trying to get life from a book,
I know.
like that makes
And the
no sense to me
contradictions in the
whatsoever.
book.
The contradictions, how archaic it is,
I
how
know.
unthoughtful it is, how barbaric they are.
Yes.
I mean, telling you to beat your children, telling
I
women that they don't
know.
matter. You don't have a
Yes.
head unless you're under a man. I mean, it's full
Yes.
of misogyny and patriarchy
Mm-hmm.
and racism and
Mm-hmm.
hatred
It
and
is.
bigotry. And I mean, and we're trying to use this as a moral guide and use it based upon a moral God that has killed more people than the very enemy that it says is the
Exactly.
enemy.
The enemy
So
hadn't killed anybody, or not many,
yeah,
if if
exactly.
anybody.
Maybe we
Yeah.
can trace them to Job's family. That's it. Maybe
Maybe.
to Job, maybe
Yes.
through the
Yes.
loose
You're
line
right.
of connecting loose dots. We can connect them there. But
Very
that's
loose
it.
dots, because
That's it.
actually,
You know,
that's another story that I don't
yeah,
understand how people
yeah.
reconcile that in their mind.
And we
Mm-hmm.
have this God who says it is good in chapter what 2 of Genesis. But by
Yeah,
chapter 6,
yes.
you're like, I'm sorry I made man, I'm gonna kill them
I
all.
regret making man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wipe them
With
all out.
in 4 chapters.
No.
4 chapters. We're out of here.
Even the animals, because
Yeah.
they did something wrong. And the
Yeah.
kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the fact that we're trying to follow this book
I know.
for a living is atrocious to me now.
And what
Like
I
that's
think
just
is interesting
horrible.
too, yes, and during the time that the Bible was written, they
Hmm.
had other books like the Tao and
Hmm.
China, and like part of like Buddhism and all this stuff. Like
Hmm.
they were practicing consciousness and
Hmm.
love and um like just conscious living.
Yeah.
Why did we go with the most violent,
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I think it fit the narrative of the Roman Empire at the
Oh,
time.
sure. Sure it
Yeah.
did.
It fit their narrative, and um, and that's really what people have always done with religions.
Yeah.
They use it. People in power use it for control it. But and I think it's so sad because again, if you get people to not believe in themselves,
Yeah.
right, and so politics is the same way. More people believe in the power of the president, what the president's going to do for them versus what they can do for themselves.
Yes, I
You
said
know,
that about a year
and
ago.
it's like you do realize that these people won't reach into their pocket and give you $5 if you needed it. You do
No,
realize that, right? You
exactly.
can't call them. You can't go knock on their office door. These people don't care about you,
Mm,
but you care so deeply about them to the
I
point that you're
know.
willing to be nasty and angry and fight other people and stand on what they're telling you so much. And whether it's politics or religion, all you're doing is taking away your value, and you're seeing yourself as not worthy, not valuable, not strong, not capable. not able to
That's
make your own
right.
decisions, not able to follow your own heart and your own instincts and your own being. And religion tells you can't do it because you're dirty and nasty and you can't trust yourself and your heart is
That's
wicked
right.
above all things and it will deceive you and you're nothing without God and without God and you can't do anything and you can only do all things through Jesus and all. So religion tells you that and your government tells you, well, listen, trust me, I know what's better for you and we got to do this, we got to do that. And we say, okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay, okay. And we become yes people and the whole time we lose ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm all for authority to some extent and rules and regulations, and I think they have a place.
Mhm.
But I think there's no more greater rule than one being able to govern themselves.
I completely agree. Completely. That mindset, I know you've seen it, but those videos on TikTok where the girl was calling the churches,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
to
yeah.
get the baby formula, and not
Hmm.
many churches, or Christian churches rather,
Yeah,
would help her.
right.
I just think I mean, that goes along with what you were talking about with the mindset of, these people
Hmm.
aren't going to actually help you.
No, they're not gonna
They
help
talk
you.
a big game,
Yeah, yeah,
and they do that to get you to follow and to
yeah.
serve them and serve their narrative and their purpose.
Hmm.
But when it comes down to it, they're not really there
Yeah,
to help you.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that non-members can give their money to a church and no one will ask them, "Are you a member?" Before you give your money, are you a
Mm,
member? Because you got to be a member to give in this offering.
I've
That
never
that'll
thought about
never
that.
that'll never
Has
come
never
up.
happened.
But if you need help,
They're
are
going
you
to
a
ask
member?
if you're a member. Oh,
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. It's a good
A,
point.
a donor can come in and say, I want to give this church $1,000 today. The church will erupt.
Okay.
Oh, praise God,
Thank
hallelujah,
you.
whatever. Thank you
Yes.
so much, so much, so
Mm-hmm.
much. Shake hands, and that person would leave and go about their business. And then next week, someone comes in off of the street and say, my car just ran out of gas. Me and my family, we're trying to get home, and we just don't think we're gonna, we
Sucks
just
for you.
saw the church and we just wanted to, see if maybe you guys can help us get home. And
Yeah.
number one, they probably won't believe you.
Yeah.
Number two, no, I'm sorry, there's not anything we can do. And so, but just last week you took the non-members' money, and then just, no problems, no problems,
Exactly. I actually have not thought about that, but you make a
no
really,
problem
really good
whatsoever.
point.
Yeah,
And that's true.
yeah.
You're spot on.
So, yeah, when you think about it like that, then the church tells you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The church does that. We don't have to criticize it or critique it. The church is telling you what I am.
Yes.
And so we're just telling you
Yes.
we're just telling you what you're telling us. That's all we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so what message would you give to
Hmm.
someone who is just starting to question things?
Yeah.
And just because, all the fear and the anger and
Yeah.
all that comes up. So what would you tell somebody that's just starting to question?
I would tell them to simply trust themselves.
Mm,
The very thing you've been told not to do.
yeah.
Because
Yes.
instinctively you've always known. Just like I did. I always knew there was something wrong with this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something wasn't right. But I didn't trust myself and I didn't follow my instincts. So
Mm-hmm.
now that you're getting ready to embark on this journey, trust your instinct and follow what gives you peace. So you're going to get new thoughts and you're going to hear new things inside of you. And you're going to go, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
trust that and follow that. And what I did was every time I did that, I found another level of peace. And I was
Mm.
like, oh, okay. And then
Yes.
I did it again and like, yeah, this makes me feel better. So I just kept
Mm-hmm.
going. So trust yourself and follow your instincts is what I would tell you.
That's huge. Thank you. So what's next for Kyle? Like where's your journey gonna lead you next?
I just said this today.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down and I'll probably share it. I, there's only one thing I've ever felt most deeply connected to within me that I need to do,
Yeah.
and that is make a lot of money so I can help people.
Mm. That's
That is
beautiful.
the one
Yeah.
thing I just have always felt. This is what you do. This is what you've got to do. That 8-year-old boy knew that, and that's what he showed me. And there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. There was nothing in that whole thing that made me feel like you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He felt no impossible. He felt no limitations. He felt that nothing was going to stop him. He was like, Kyle, look. This is
This
this
is
is what you got
it.
to do. This is
Mm-hmm.
it. And that your boy Kyle received him was like, yes, yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of a thing. And unfortunately, people told me, and that's it. We talked slightly about this, but one person can tell you one thing
Mm-hmm.
as a child, and it can derail you for years.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes. Yep.
and I'm darker skinned black, right? So, and
Are
when I
you?
was growing up, that's what they
Yes.
tell me.
Yeah. I wouldn't believe
And
everybody.
I don't now, but growing up, it was a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always tell people now that I've found my self esteem to a bigger degree now. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I was so dark until someone told me. And I didn't know it was a problem until somebody told me. As soon as they
Never
told me
knew
it was
that
a
was a
problem, it
thing.
became a problem. Like I was just going through
Isn't
life
that
fine, and
something?
somebody was like, "You so dark," and I was like, "I am." Is that bad? Oh, that's bad. It is.
Oh my gosh. That's just the
True
color of your skin and
story.
how you were made.
Exactly. True story. And I went through life like being
I mean,
bullied
it's
and being
sad. I'm
picked
not
on all
laughing at
because
that.
somebody told me I was so dark,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it tore me
That's
up
so
for years
sad.
until I started
Yes.
hating myself. I mean,
Oh my
only
gosh.
because somebody told me.
Isn't that something? How that
Exactly.
has that much power over us. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I just fell right in. I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
dang.
And
I
that
mean,
became
I.
my focus for years. So that's what Kyle is going to do,
Yeah.
because Kyle has done a lot of the inner work, a lot of the inner healing necessary to bring back that 8-year-old boy.
Yes.
I went and grabbed his hand and said, "I'm sorry for leaving you here. Now let's go finish what we started." You know, and so we're gonna somehow or another complete this thing. And I just want to help a lot of people. And I've always felt financially was the way that I can
Yeah.
help a lot of people. And I may not
Yeah.
change a life, but I'm gonna change a lot of days
Mhm.
in people's lives.
I don't know, Kyle. Um, I have a feeling that you're going to change lives too, and you already are.
I hope
I
so. I
mean,
hope so too. I hope so.
absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And something too, like just that one story that you were told, right? And
Hmm.
you lived with that
Yeah.
forever, and you struggled with that, which was
Hmm.
senseless. I mean that
Yeah.
was even a thing, but that you suffered because of that. And like knowing things like that, because I have things like that I carried through life too, which was so silly thinking about it
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I've been so shy and so introverted, almost mute at times,
Hmm.
um, because of like my confidence and my, self confidence.
Yeah.
And so, very similar to your story, just like other people, I mean, telling me different things. And
Hmm.
so, but now that we have felt different things in life like that, and we see people differently, and we
Hmm.
see life for what it is.
Hmm.
And I feel like that is so powerful because most people, they're walking around asleep
Yeah.
and completely indoctrinated in
Yeah.
whatever way. And
Hmm.
I just feel like those experiences like that you've had can be so powerful to help people because you know
Hmm.
how what they're going through to the as
Hmm.
far as like the feelings and the
Yeah.
depression and just
Yeah.
all the stuff, right? And you
Hmm.
also know what brought you out of it.
Yeah.
And you know how senseless it is, like how we take other people's words and it
Hmm.
completely shapes our life, which is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just think that puts you in such an incredible spot because the love that you actually have for people now, you're not looking at them through
Yeah.
like judgmental eyes. And I'm not saying that, I mean, it was ever, I know like me, and
Oh,
I've
I
used
was
this,
I was a Pharisee.
right,
I
right.
was a Pharisee.
And that's
It's
just,
yeah.
And
Just no
but
other way to call it. I was a Pharisee.
I mean, but that's what religion like teaches us to be,
Yeah, I
right?
was I was I was bad. I
And
was really bad. I was really bad. I was
but
really bad.
okay, but you've been
I
on
was
both
bad.
sides of it, and the way
Yeah.
that you love people and see people, and I use this as an example. See a homeless person, I
Mm-hmm.
would like say, oh, I feel years ago, like I feel sorry for them, but they could go get a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so judgmental, and like it had I walked through their life and every step that they had taken, I would probably be in the same spot, if not worse, right?
Yeah.
I have no
Mm-hmm.
idea what these people have gone through and faced.
Exactly.
I'm nobody to judge or say anything when it comes to their life. But now
Mm-hmm.
I look at them through the lens of pure love.
Yeah.
A, with compassion and empathy,
Mm-hmm.
but B, like knowing that no one asked to be in a crappy situation.
Exactly.
Nobody
That's
woke
what
up and
changed it
said,
for exactly.
yes,
That's what hit me one day.
yeah,
That's what changed it for me.
mm-hmm,
Because in our town, we have a lot of panhandlers. A
mm-hmm,
lot.
mm-hmm,
You can, in some of the McDonald's or Wendy's, you can't drive through the drive-through without somebody tapping your
right,
window, right?
yeah, mm-hmm,
And the old Kyle would get away from my car. I'm mad. I'm mad. You tapping my window for go. Kind of a thing. So one day I'm driving through the drive-through, and I'm with my buddy, and he's still a Christian heavy, but I've deconstructed a lot.
mm-hmm,
And one of the panhandlers going through that process, and it hit me. There's nothing that can convince me that that man made a choice
mm-hmm.
to be where he is right now.
No,
Nothing can convince me. You know
no.
what? You know what I want to do? I want to become a panhandler and live on the streets and bother people when they're going through their drive-through at Wendy's. Yeah, where I
I
sign up
know,
at.
I know,
Like and
no.
I felt his humanity
Yeah,
in that
yes,
moment for the first time.
yes.
You know,
It's
and then that's
incredible.
what changed it for me when I realized everybody has a why.
Yes.
And we don't take time to, because I didn't know my why. Like, not why am I here, but why was I hurting?
No,
Why
no,
was I
yeah,
self-sabotaging myself? Why was I
exactly.
doing things that was against my own best
Yes.
interest? I didn't know my why, and I had to do the inner work to find the
Mm-hmm.
why. And like you mentioned about those energies and those vibrations, those
Yeah.
emotions, one by one, they started coming to the surface, and I started saying, okay. And then the next
This
emotion would
makes
come up, and
sense.
it was all
Yeah.
kind of coming together. And then I would hear something that my ears were ready to hear about my childhood. And I go, that's when it happened.
That's it. Yeah.
That's that moment right there. And
Mm-hmm.
then that brought the healing. So all those kind of things. But, we all have the why.
I know.
And then my job now is not to try to understand you where you are. It's just to accept you and your humanness where you are,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yes. Exactly.
And
That's
and if
right.
I can help you in this moment as a human, because I see you as a human, then
I
that's
see
what I want to
you.
do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we weren't given the tools to know
Right.
how to do that inner work or find why we are
No,
self sabotaging, like you said. And
no,
they sure haven't been able to, I mean, been given the tools, right?
no.
So, yeah, I mean, going back to you are going to change lives, and you already are. Like, I mean, you just are. I can tell.
Thank
I
you.
know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This has been a pleasure.
Likewise.
So, tell us, where can we find Kyle?
Well, if on TikTok, if you want some heavy duty, sarcastic kind of deconstruction stuff,
I've never heard you be sarcastic.
a little bit. You can find me over there on Kyle Talks.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Facebook, where you get kind of like a mixture of
Mm-hmm.
motivational stuff, self-love stuff, and some deconstruction. You can
Mm-hmm.
find me on Facebook, or you can find me on YouTube. I just started using my YouTube because I had some preaching stuff on there. I didn't really do YouTube for years, and I realized I still got a lot of preaching stuff over there, so I got rid of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. And now I'm just starting to upload a little bit of the TikTok stuff. And then on Instagram, you'll find mostly all just motivational stuff.
Yeah.
About just to encourage your day as a human being going through life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you can find me, just Kyle Butler on all those platforms. So if you want to reach out, I'd be happy to talk to you, chat with you, or whatever I can do.
Kyle, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I want to thank you
Likewise.
so much.
Thank you as well.
for talking to me. And this just, I'm really, this conversation has been amazing. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to today's conversation with Kyle Butler. His journey is such a powerful reminder that questioning isn't betrayal, it's growth. If you're in the middle of your own unraveling, if you're navigating fear, guilt, or that quiet inner voice saying, I know there's more, I hope this episode gave you permission to follow that knowing. Your path is yours to walk, and you're allowed to evolve. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who might need it. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you feel led, leave a review. And of course, you can follow Kyle's work online. He continues to create thoughtful, honest content for people healing from religion and reclaiming their own truth. Thank you for being here. And remember that you are not alone on this journey and you're exactly where you're meant to be.